All right, strap in, everyone, because today we're going deep, really deep into a world that's, well, both super prestigious and kind of shrouded in mystery. It's the NSF GRFP.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the one, the fellowship that can seriously launch a whole scientific career. But we're not just talking about what it is, we're going full on fly on the wall here. And we can do that because of this document we've got, a statement of work for a contractor, get this, supporting the whole program. It's like a peek behind the curtain. We get to see the machinery that sifts through like thousands upon thousands of applications, and that impacts, well, let's be honest, the future of research.
What really gets me is the sheer scale of it all. Think about it. 13,000, maybe even 15,000 applications every single year. And when you factor in all the people involved, applicants, reviewers, recommenders, you're looking at potentially 65,000 people. It's massive. It's not just a fellowship. It's practically its own ecosystem.
Okay, so I'm familiar with the basics, of course. It supports early career scientists, right?
Yeah.
Pushes for more diversity in STEM, helps keep the U.S. at the front of the research pack, all that good stuff. But, okay, get this. 70,000 fellowships awarded since 1952. That's mind-blowing. And then there's the money. They're dealing with $333 million a year. I mean, wow. To put it in perspective, that's more than some entire research fields get. It really shows you how seriously the NSF takes this whole idea of cultivating, the next generation of scientists.
And that's precisely where the contractor enters the picture. Their job goes way beyond just processing a mountain of paperwork. They're there to support the GRFP every step of the way throughout the whole cycle. One thing that caught my eye, they even run training programs for applicants and reviewers.
Wait, hold on. Training for reviewers. I mean, isn't that kind of assuming scientists don't know how to assess research?
It's not about that, really. It's more about making sure everyone's on the same page. Minimizing bias as much as possible. Remember, these reviewers are busy people, incredibly busy. They've got limited time to dedicate to each application. The training is there to ensure everyone's using the same criteria, looking through the same lens, when they're judging the potential of these applicants.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But then there's this whole text analytics thing. They're using algorithms, right? To, scrutinize the feedback that the scientists are giving. Isn't that a little, I don't know, Big Brother-ish? How can they be sure that this isn't stifling honest critique?
That's where things get really interesting. They're not trying to weed out bad feedback, not at all. It's about looking for patterns in the language used. That can be really helpful in identifying unconscious bias. It's all about making the process fairer for everyone, no matter their background.
So it's like a safety net, making sure a brilliant mind doesn't get overlooked just because of, how someone phrased their critique. Okay, that's actually pretty cool, but doesn't this all seem a bit, I don't know, rigid? I mean, they're developing a comprehensive rubric for evaluation. Could that end up overlooking the truly unique applicants, the ones who are outside the box, who don't fit neatly into a mold?
That's the balancing act, isn't it? You want a system that's fair, definitely, and objective, but also flexible enough to spot those diamonds in the rough, the ones who are truly groundbreaking.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And all of this has to happen online these days, right? Because they mentioned the contractor transitioning the GRFP to a .gov website using something called the U.S. Web Design System. And, get this, Drupal CMS. Let's be honest, Drupal CMS doesn't exactly scream cutting-edge science. But hey, I guess even groundbreaking research needs a decent website.
Absolutely. And this move to a .gov platform, especially using Drupal, suggests they're really committed to open access, and transparency. It's about making information about the program itself and maybe even research findings down the line much more accessible to the public.
Okay, so we've got mountains of applications, algorithms analyzing feedback, a whole website revamp. It sounds like the GRFP is a pretty high-tech operation these days. But before we get lost in the digital weeds here, let's take a minute to appreciate the human side of all this. Because there are real people behind those applications, with dreams and ambitions and anxieties too, I bet.
You're absolutely right. It's easy to get caught up in the numbers and the processes, but each one of those applications represents a person, someone pouring their heart and soul into their research dreams. And then you've got the people on the other side, the ones making this whole thing work, people with dedication and passion, the kind of folks who can make this huge undertaking a reality.
And we're not talking about just any random folks, right?
Yeah.
This statement of work gets really specific about the qualifications for the contractor staff. The project manager, for instance, needs experience that's comparable to running a large division or small directorate. Wow, that's intense.
It just goes to show you the sheer scale of the GRFP, and the level of responsibility the contractor is entrusted with. And let's not forget the data analysts, the folks who have to be fluent in Python and R, grappling with mountains of data. These are highly specialized skills. It highlights the complexity of the whole system.
Wow, I'm already feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And we haven't even got to the actual review process yet. But hey, that's what we're here for, right? To unpack this beast, one fascinating detail at a time. So what happens next? Walk us through what it's like to be an applicant facing, the GRFP gauntlet.
Imagine this. You've poured your heart and soul into that application. You've submitted everything. And now, you wait. But behind the scenes, things are already in motion. Your application, along with thousands of others, is about to enter the digital arena, where algorithms, expert reviewers, and a whole lot of data analysis come into play.
All right, that's where we'll pick up in part 2. Until then, listeners, I'm picturing a huge room, maybe even a warehouse, filled with stacks of applications. And somewhere in there, algorithms are whirring away, trying to find the next scientific superstar. Stay tuned to see how it all unfolds.
Welcome back. As we were talking about that digital arena where those applications go head-to-head, I couldn't help but wonder, what's it like on the other side? Who are these reviewers? They have so much power, to make or break someone's scientific dreams.
It's a good question. And luckily, this statement of work gives us some insight.
Yeah, it does. And one thing that stands out is they're not just looking for, big names or superstars from academia. Research accomplishments, yes, that's important. But they're also really interested in experience with graduate education. They want reviewers who truly understand the unique challenges and opportunities that those just starting out their research careers are facing.
So they're looking for mentors, almost as much as judges. People who can spot that spark of potential even if the applicant doesn't have, pages and pages of publications yet.
Exactly. And there's a strong emphasis on diversity among the reviewers, too. They want to make sure those applications are evaluated from a whole range of perspectives. Different backgrounds, different research areas, different institutions, even different career paths. It's all in there.
That makes total sense. You definitely don't want a bunch of clones deciding the future of research.
Right.
But let's get real for a second. The stakes are high.
Mm-hmm.
I'm picturing these reviewers huddled over stacks of applications, maybe even, some heated debates going on.
Well, the document actually mentions virtual panels, so maybe it's more like, scientists debating your fate on Zoom these days. But yeah, there's no doubt it's a rigorous process. They've got limited time to assess each application, and they're looking for those candidates who demonstrate not just knowledge, but that intangible it's factor, the drive, the creativity, that real potential to make an impact.
Okay, so let's say you make it through this whole gauntlet. You get the golden ticket, the email that says, congratulations, you're a GRFP fellow. What happens next? Is it just a matter of, getting a big check and then being left to your own devices?
Oh, not at all. The GRFP is about so much more than just funding. It's about fostering a whole new generation of scientific leaders. And that means providing ongoing support, guidance, mentorship, the whole package. And the contractor is really key here. They develop post-award resources, guides, instructional videos, all sorts of things to help the fellows navigate the program and really get the most out of their experience.
So it's like fellowship boot camp.
Yeah.
But with less push-ups and more pipettes.
Yeah, something like that. The point is, it's not just about throwing money at the problem. They're investing in the people, recognizing that success in science isn't just about raw talent. It's about having the right support system, the resources, the mentorship, all those things that help you truly thrive.
And that includes, dealing with rejection, right? Because for every fellow they select, there are so many others who don't make the cut.
You're right, and the document actually acknowledges that. It specifically emphasizes the need to provide support during that notification process, recognizing how impactful hearing no can be. It can be just as emotionally significant as a yes.
That's really nice to see, that human touch, especially in a process that, can feel so dominated by data and metrics. It's like they're saying, hey, we see you, we value your effort, and even though you weren't selected this time, we still want to help you pursue those scientific dreams.
It all goes back to that idea of fostering a community. Yes, the GRFP is competitive, definitely, but it's also about encouraging and supporting everyone who has that passion for science,
Yeah, absolutely.
And that brings us right back to the contractor, because they're the ones on the ground making it all happen. They're making sure the system works the way it should, that the money gets where it needs to go, that the fellows get all the support they need, and, that the whole process is conducted with fairness and integrity every step of the way.
And speaking of the contractor, there's this whole section about the staff qualifications. I can't get it out of my head. It's like a mini org chart of science wranglers.
I know, it's fascinating, right? You've got the project manager basically running the whole show. Then there are the data analysts crunching all those numbers, identifying trends, making sure the algorithms are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And then there are the web developers, the unsung heroes, keeping that GRFP online presence up and running, which, let's be honest, is no small feat these days with all the constant updates and security threats and everything.
It's like a well-oiled machine, each cog playing a crucial role. But let's zoom out for just a second. You mentioned that the GRFP is all about shaping the future of science, right?
Mhm.
What does that actually look like? I mean, we're talking over 70,000 fellows over decades. What kind of impact have they had?
It's huge. I mean, think about it. GRFP alumni aren't just academics. They're out there leading biotech startups, advising policymakers, writing books that shape how the public understands science. Your work, with their support, could be the next big breakthrough. And that's not even getting into the ripple effect. The students they mentor, the collaborations they foster, the whole scientific ecosystem that benefits from their expertise.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
It's like planting a tiny seed that grows into a whole forest of scientific discovery.
Exactly. And that forest is constantly evolving, which makes me wonder, how will programs like the GRFP adapt in the future? We're already seeing things changing, the shift towards virtual panels, the increasing reliance on data analysis, the move towards more online platforms. What's next?
Right, because science never stands still, so neither can the systems that support it. Hmm. I'm picturing even more personalized feedback for applicants, maybe some AI-powered tools to help match mentors and fellows. Who knows, maybe one day we'll even have virtual reality labs where GRFP fellows from all over the world can collaborate in real time.
Those are some pretty amazing possibilities, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have more to uncover about how things work right now. Remember, this statement of work is packed with all these intricate details about how the GRFP functions right now in the present. And one area that I find particularly interesting is their approach to outreach and communication.
Oh, you mean like how they go about finding these hidden gems, the future scientific rock stars? Because they're not just sitting around passively waiting for applications to roll in, right?
Exactly. They're actively engaging with the scientific community, promoting the program, really making an effort to reach people who might not otherwise even know about the GRFP or think that it's an opportunity for them.
So it's not just about opening the door, it's about saying, hey, come on in, this place is for you too.
Precisely. And the document really goes into depth about their outreach strategies, especially their focus on groups that are underrepresented in STEM, attending conferences, visiting institutions, even developing specific training programs to help applicants from diverse backgrounds put together stronger applications.
That's so cool. It's not just paying lip service to diversity, it's actually putting in the work to make the GRFP more accessible and inclusive. But do they ever, check if it's actually working? I mean, how do they know if their efforts are making a difference?
Good question. And the answer is yes, they do. The document emphasizes the importance of data in this area as well. They're tracking things like website visits, downloads, social media engagement, all of that. And they're also gathering feedback from applicants and reviewers to see what's working and how they can constantly improve their outreach strategies.
So it's a data-driven approach to inclusivity. That's pretty smart, actually. It shows they're serious about making the GRFP reflect the full spectrum of talent and perspectives that we have in our society.
Absolutely. They're recognizing that the future of science depends on diverse voices, diverse ideas, diverse approaches to solving the world's most pressing problems.
I like that. Well said. I'm really starting to see the bigger picture now. It's not just about funding research. It's about cultivating a whole culture of science, one that's rigorous and innovative, but also collaborative and truly representative of humanity as a whole.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it all comes back to the system itself, the machinery that makes that vision a reality. We've talked about the application process, the reviewers, the support they give to fellows, but there's one crucial piece we haven't really explored in depth yet. The heart of it all, the evaluation process. How do they actually decide who gets funded? What are those criteria, the benchmarks, the secret sauce, if you will, that makes a GRFT application stand out from the crowd?
Now that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And luckily for us, this statement of work gives us some pretty fascinating clues. So buckle up, listeners, because in Part 3, we're going behind the scenes of the GRFP review process. We'll unpack the rubric, dissect the criteria, and maybe even uncover a few secrets to crafting that perfect application. Stay tuned. Okay, deep divers, we're back, ready to tackle the final stage of this whole GRFP journey, the review process. This is it, the moment of truth, where all those applications, all that data, all those hopes and dreams get, filtered through the lens of the GRFP rubric.
And it's not just any old rubric. This thing is a result of decades of experience, a carefully crafted tool designed to find those people, the individuals, with that real potential to make significant contributions to their fields.
Potential. That's such a, I don't know, a slippery word. How do you even measure something like that? What are they actually looking for when they're going through these applications?
Yeah. Well, the document highlights a few key areas. Obviously, research experience is crucial. They want to see a track record of engagement, even at the undergraduate level. Have you worked in a lab? Presented at conferences, maybe even published something. But it goes deeper than just checking those boxes. They're looking for those signs of genuine intellectual curiosity, that ability to think critically, creatively about research problems.
So it's not just about being a lab rat. It's about showing you can think for yourself, that you have that smark, that scientific inquiry driving you.
Exactly. And then there are the academic achievements. Grades, honors, awards, all that plays a role too. But again, it's not just about the numbers themselves. It's about showing that you have a strong foundation in your chosen field, a deep understanding of the concepts and the methods that, will be driving your future research.
Right, like you need that solid base before you can build those scientific castles in the sky.
And speaking of castles in the sky, the research proposal, that's a crucial piece of the GRFP application. This is your chance, your chance to articulate your vision, to outline those research questions you're passionate about, to really convince the reviewers that your project has the potential to, to push the boundaries of what we know, of scientific knowledge.
Okay, so the proposal's like your scientific manifesto then. But how do they judge something as, as subjective as a research idea? What makes one proposal stand out from the others?
There are a few things they look for. Clarity, feasibility, originality, those are all key. They want to see a research question that's well-defined, a clear methodology, a realistic timeline, all of that. But they're also looking for that spark of novelty, that innovative approach that sets your project apart, that makes it unique.
So it's a balance then, right?
Okay.
Between being grounded in solid science, but also daring to dream big.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are those all-important letters of recommendation. This is your opportunity to let your talents and potential shine through the eyes of those who know you best. Your professors, your mentors, your research collaborators, those folks. They can really speak to your work ethic, your problem-solving skills, your ability to collaborate, to communicate effectively.
It's like having your own scientific cheer squad backing you up. But this all still feels a bit, intangible. How do they actually weigh these different factors? Is there like a secret formula they use to calculate a GRFP score?
Well, that's where the rubric comes in again. It's kind of like a detailed scoring guide. It outlines the specific criteria and, how much weight each section of the application carries.
So it's not just based on a gut feeling. There's a real system in place.
Exactly. And it's important to remember this rubric isn't set in stone. It's reviewed and updated regularly to reflect the evolving needs of the scientific community. So while the core principles, scientific excellence, potential, those remain constant, the specific emphasis might shift over time.
So keeping up with the latest trends in your field, that's key, not just for your research, but for your application strategy too.
Right.
But let's be honest, with thousands of applications to go through, this whole process has got to be pretty intense. Are we talking like all-nighters fueled by coffee and pizza?
Well, the document doesn't mention the pizza specifically, but it does stress the importance of surge support during peak periods. So yeah, I'd say there are probably some long nights and some pretty bleary-eyed mornings involved.
It's not just about speed, right?
Yeah.
It's about accuracy. It's about fairness. They need to make sure every single application gets the attention it deserves, that the reviewers are giving consistent, constructive feedback, and that the entire process is, free from bias.
Absolutely. And that's where technology comes in again. Remember, we talked about text analytics being used to screen review text, to look for potential issues. Well, that helps ensure the feedback given to applicants is balanced, it's objective, and it's really focused on their scientific merit.
So it's like the digital guardian angel watching over the whole process, making sure everything stays fair and square.
Exactly. And then there are those comprehensive reports that the contractor puts together for the NSF. It's all about transparency and accountability, demonstrating that the selection process was rigorous, that it was fair, that it was based on a clear set of criteria.
It's like a scientific audit trail. No funny business going on here.
Exactly. And that's crucial for maintaining the integrity and the reputation of the GRFP. But beyond all the data, beyond the technology, it's important to remember that this whole process is ultimately about people.
The human element. The aspiring scientists pouring their hearts into those applications, the dedicated reviewers giving their time and expertise, the contractor staff working behind the scenes to make it all happen.
It's a huge collaborative effort, a testament to, I think, to the power of human ingenuity and the shared belief in the importance of supporting the next generation of scientific leaders.
Well said.
Yeah.
This deep dive has been quite a journey. We've gone from mountains of applications to, algorithms and rubrics, from virtual panels to the human stories behind it all.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride. We've explored all the intricate machinery that makes the GRFP tick, uncovering the processes, the criteria, the values that drive this incredible program.
And I think we've also gotten a much deeper understanding of the impact the GRFP has,
Yeah.
not just on individual scientists, but on, the advancement of knowledge and the betterment of society as a whole.
Absolutely. It's a program that invests in potential, that nurtures talent, and that really empowers individuals to make a difference in the world.
So to all our listeners out there, whether you're a budding scientist, a seasoned researcher, or just someone who's passionate about the future of science,
Remember that the GRFP is more than just a fellowship. It's a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of human curiosity, and a reminder that, that the pursuit of knowledge is a journey worth taking.
and from all of us here at the Deep Dive, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Until next time, stay curious.